Let me ask you about Afghanistan. General McChrystal, commander on the ground, is doing an assessment of the mission and what he needs to achieve that mission successfully. A question about the end game. The Washington Post reports today about the long-term cost to America. As the Obama administration expands U.S. involvement in Afghanistan, military experts are warning that the U.S. is taking on security and political commitments that will last at least a decade and a cost that will probably eclipse that of the Iraq War. What is the end game in Afghanistan? What kind of time frame should Americans expect?
The end game in Afghanistan is obviously to turn the responsibility for their security and economic prosperity and the governance over to Afghans as quickly as possible. We're doing that three ways. One is in March we announced a comprehensive strategy that wasn't only focused on troop strength and security, although there's a certain minimum there that's required, but also the cohesion of security, economic development, and good governance and rule of law from local mayors all the way up to Kabul. We've generally done pretty well over time on the security pillar. NATO, the United States, and 47 sovereign countries are on the ground in Afghanistan. The UN, the NATO, the European Union, the World Bank, all sorts of non-governmental organizations. All the instruments are there to turn this thing in the right direction. The question is, how do you get them to work more cohesively? And that's the new strategy. And if we can get that done, and we will know that fairly quickly, we've published a new set of metrics, or they're not published, but they're being developed in concert with the congressional guidance. We have an envoy and hard at work to frame this whole thing, new commanders, new ambassadors, and we think that it's going to change and it's going to move in the right direction. Now, I can't tell you.
At least a decade, though? I mean, should Americans really
no.
settle? It's less than a decade, you think, in terms of our commitment?
You can't predict here where the tipping point is, just like we couldn't really predict it in Iraq, but it will, if it's done right and if it's done cohesively, the tipping point will be much, much quicker, much sooner than that. We will know whether this strategy is working and by the end of the next year, and we'll be able to make some predictions, maybe some predictions at that time, but not before.
General McChrystal wants more troops for Afghanistan. Will he get a skeptical response from President Obama?
General McChrystal is doing what all good commanders do. When you take over a big job, you do an assessment. General McChrystal has the overall strategy that's been agreed to, and he is making his commander's estimate on how to function within that strategy. And we'll just have to wait and see what he has to say. But it has to be whatever we do is with the context of a new strategy was agreed upon in March, and a very comprehensive one.